The rain hammered the roof like it was trying to drown out the screams in my head. But nothing could wash away the taste of his lips on mine, forbidden, electric, a betrayal wrapped in salvation. I was 19, buried alive in the closet of my family's crumbling farmhouse in rural Ohio. And Daniel, my father's old war buddy for Nam, had just crashed through the door of my life like a grenade with a heartbeat. Matthew, he growled, his voice a gravelly anchor in the storm. You think you're alone in this hell? Let me show you you're not. That night in July 2015, the air hung thick with Midwest humidity, the kind that clings to your skin like regret. Dad had called me down from my attic room, barely more than a converted storage space with a sagging mattress and posters of MLB stars peeling at the edges, to help set up the guest room. Dan's coming in late. He'd grunted over his Budweiser, his calloused hands slapping a fresh sheet onto the lumpy bed. Dad was a Vietnam vet turned auto mechanic, all broad shoulders and faded tattoos. The kind of man who believed in God, guns, and keeping your mouth shut about anything that didn't fit the script. Mom had died when I was 10, cancer eating her from the inside out, leaving behind a void filled with silence and Dad's endless shifts at the garage. I was the only kid, the quiet one who fixed engines by day and dreamed of escape by night. Chicago, maybe, or New York, where boys like me didn't have to hide. Daniel arrived around midnight, his pickup truck rumbling up the gravel drive like thunder. I peered through the kitchen window, heart thudding for reasons I couldn't admit even to myself. He stepped out, tall and lean in his faded jeans and flannel shirt, rain slicking his dark hair shot through with silver. 47, Dad had said once, but he carried it like 40, with laugh lines that crinkled when he grinned and eyes the color of storm clouds, deep, knowing, pulling you in before you realized you'd fallen. They hugged on the porch, back slapping the way old soldiers do, and I caught fragments of their talk, deployments, lost buddies, the garage's latest drama. Matthew's growing up fast, Dad said, clapping my shoulder as I hovered in the doorway. Kid's got my hands, but none of my sense. Daniel turned, and his gaze hit me like a live wire. Matthew, he said, extending a hand rough from years of carpentry. Turns out he flipped houses in Cleveland now. His grip was firm, lingering a beat too long, and I swear the world tilted. Heard a lot about you. Your old man's right. You've got that quiet fire. I mumbled something about school, community college, undeclared major, and bolted upstairs, cheeks burning. What the hell was that? I'd known I was gay since 14, stealing glances at the quarterback in gym class, but I'd buried it deep under flannel and football games. Coming out in Millersburg, that was a one-way ticket to whispers, beatings, or worse, exile from the only home I had. Sleep evaded me that night, the storm raging outside, mirroring the one in my chest. Around 2 a.m., footsteps creaked on the stairs, not Dad's heavy tread, but lighter, deliberate. My door eased open, and there was Daniel, silhouetted against the hallway light, a silhouette of muscle and mystery. He didn't knock. He just stood there, dripping from a quick shower, towel slung low on his hips, steam curling off his skin like cigarette smoke. "Can't sleep?" he asked, voice low, stepping inside without invitation. The room shrank, air thick with the scent of his soap, pine and earth, clean and wild. I sat up, sheets pooling around my waist, heart slamming like a V8 engine. Storms loud, lie. The truth was him, invading my space, my thoughts, everything I'd locked away. He chuckled, a sound like distant thunder, and sat on the edge of my bed, the mattress dipping under his weight. Storms'll do that. Used to drive me crazy in the jungle, rain like God's piss. Hiding the enemy. He paused, eyes scanning my room, the dog-eared copy of The Catcher in the Rye on the nightstand. The hidden sketch pad under my pillow where I drew faces, men's faces, strong jaws and soft eyes. Your dad's worried about you. You know, says you're pulling away. Distant. I swallowed hard, the vulnerability hitting like a sucker punch. Dad noticed? The man who'd barely glanced at me since Mom's funeral? I'm fine. Just figuring shit out. Daniel's gaze sharpened, peeling back layers I didn't know I had. Figuring out who you are? Huh, that's the hardest war there is. He leaned closer, elbow on his knee. Close enough I could see the scar snaking down his forearm, a jagged reminder of shrapnel. He'd later tell me. I know that look. Kid. Seen it in mirrors. In barracks. In places where admitting it gets you killed. My breath caught. He knew. How? The way I avoided his eyes? The flush that crept up my neck? What? What do you mean? He sighed, running a hand through his damp hair. Your dad and I go back to 68. Saved each other's asses more times than I can count. But there's shit we never talked about. Secrets that fester. His voice dropped. Intimate. Confessional. I'm gay. Matthew. Been fighting it since I was your age. Lost friends. Jobs. Pieces of myself. But hiding, that's a slow death. The word hung there, gay, like a grenade pin pulled. I stared. World fracturing. Part of me wanted to bolt. Deny. Pretend this was a dream. But another part, the starving one, leaned in. How? How do you live with it? Here, you don't live with it. You live through it. His hand, God. That hand reached out, cupping my jaw, thumb brushing my cheekbone. Rough, calloused, but gentle, like he was handling fragile glass. You're beautiful when you're scared. You know that, like a colt ready to bolt. I froze, pulse roaring in my ears. This was wrong. Dad downstairs. The Bible on the dresser. The whole damn town waiting to judge. But his touch ignited something primal, a spark I denied for years. Our eyes locked, breaths mingling. And then, Jesus, he kissed me. Not soft, not tentative, but deep, claiming, like he'd been waiting decades for this moment. His lips were warm, tasting of mint and rain. His stubble scraping my skin in a way that sent shivers racing down my spine. My hands fisted in his towel, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to this. Him, me, the storm outside fading to white noise. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together. Daniel, it was a plea, a prayer, my voice cracking. Chill. He traced my lips with his thumb, eyes dark with regret and hunger. This changes everything, doesn't it? It did. In that instant, the boy I'd been shattered, and something raw, alive, clawed its way out. But as the rain eased to a drizzle, doubt crept in. What now? Dad finding out? Daniel leaving at dawn like this never happened? I didn't know then that this was just the beginning, the spark to a fire that would consume us both. Forging love from ashes, betrayal from trust, and a truth so painful it would scar us forever. Morning came too soon, sunlight slicing through the blinds like accusations. I woke alone, sheets tangled, the ghost of his touch lingering on my skin. Downstairs, the clatter of bacon and coffee, Dad's ritual, unchanged. Daniel was at the table, laughing at some story about a busted transmission, his flannel crisp as if the night hadn't happened. Our eyes met across the formica, a current zipping between us, electric and dangerous. Sleep okay? Matt, Dad asked, oblivious, flipping eggs. Yeah. Storm passed. Lie. The storm was just brewing. After breakfast, Dad dragged Daniel to the garage. Show you that 72 Chevy I've been nursing, leaving me to clear plates? Mind reeling. I replayed it all. The kiss. His confession. The way he'd whispered, "We'll figure this out," before slipping away. Was it pity, a moment's weakness, or something real, terrifyingly so? By afternoon, they were back, grease-streaked and grinning, cracking open beers on the porch. I hovered, pretending to weed the garden, stealing glances. Daniel caught me once, winked subtle, devastating, and my stomach flipped. Dinner was strained normalcy. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, Dad dominating the talk of Steelers versus Browns. But under the table, Daniel's boot nudged mine. A secret Morse code. I'm here. That night, Dad crashed early, double shift tomorrow, and the house settled into quiet. I paced my room, heard a war drum, when the knock came. Soft, insistent. Daniel slipped in, locking the door, his presence filling the space like oxygen. "Missed you all day," he murmured, pulling me into his arms. We didn't speak much, just held on, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces long separated. His hands roamed my back, soothing circles, while I buried my face in his neck. Inhaling him, leather, sawdust. Man. We kissed again, slower this time, exploratory, mapping each other's edges. No rush, no desperation, just connection, pure and profound. "Tell me about you," he said later, propped on an elbow, moonlight gilding his skin. I did, spilling it all, the crushes hidden in notebooks, the fear of Dad's rage, the ache of invisibility. He listened, really listened, sharing his own fragments, a lover lost to AIDS in the 80s, the military discharge veiled as honorable, the string of one night stands masking loneliness. "I came out to your dad once. Drunk off my ass in '89, he admitted, voice hollow. He laughed it off, called me a fag as a joke. Never brought it up again. The word stung, even secondhand. He wouldn't. With me." Daniel's jaw tightened. "He's a good man, Matt. Scared, like all of us. But love like this, it don't bend to fear." We fell asleep tangled, his heartbeat my lullaby. Dawn brought panic, his truck idling in the drive. Dad's alarm blaring. "Come to Cleveland," he whispered at the door. "Urgent. Next weekend. I'll pick you up. We can. Be us." I nodded, throat tight. "Promise. Swear it." One last kiss, fierce and fleeting, and he was gone. The week blurred, classes at the junior college, shifts at the local diner, slinging hash browns to farmers who eyed me like fresh meat. Every night, text from Daniel, burners, cautious, thinking of your laugh. Missed that fire. I saved them like talismans, deleting after reading, heart soaring. Friday, I lied to Dad about a study group, backpack stuffed with lies and longing. His truck waited at the edge of town, under the rusted water tower, and when I climbed in, he crushed me in a hug that smelled of freedom. Cleveland was chaos and color, skyline jagged against Lake Erie, streets buzzing with life I'd only seen on TV. His apartment was a third-floor walk-up in Ohio City, exposed brick, tools scattered, a worn leather couch that became our world. We cooked spaghetti, burned it laughing, fed each other bites between kisses. Walked the market at dawn, hands brushing in crowds, anonymous and alive. "This is what it could be," he said one night, us on his balcony overlooking the Cuyahoga, city lights twinkling like fallen stars. You and me, building something real. I believed him. God, how I believed. But secrets have teeth, and ours were gnawing from the start. 2 months in, and Cleveland felt like a dream I never wanted to wake from. Daniel's world enveloped me, weekends sneaking away, lies to Dad stacking like cordwood, extra shifts tutoring the neighbor kid. Guilt gnawed, but so did joy, sharp and sweet. We'd drive his truck to the lake, park under willows, talk for hours about everything and nothing. He taught me to swing a hammer, his hands over mine on the nail, breath warm on my neck. Steady now, he'd murmur, and I'd melt, tool forgotten. But cracks formed early. Late nights, he'd stare at his phone, thumb hovering over a contact, J. X. I asked once, casual as I could. He pocketed it quick. Old habit. Nothing. Lie. I saw it in his eyes, haunted, evasive. Still, I pushed down the doubt, clung to the man who held me like I was his anchor. Back in Millersburg, Dad grew suspicious. You're glowing. Boy, he said over dinner one October evening, Fort pausing mid-bite. What's her name? The assumption twisted like a knife, her. I forced a laugh, mumbled about school, but his gaze lingered, probing. Then the call came, shattering the fragile peace. It was a Tuesday, rain lashing the diner windows. Me wiping counters when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Matthew? It's Lisa, from Daniel's site. Pause. Awkward. He missed a crew meeting. Third time this month. You seen him. My stomach dropped. What? No. Lies tumbled out. He's sick. Family stuff. But her tone said she knew more. Daniel's site? Construction crew. He'd said. But this sounded domestic. I confronted him that weekend. Truck idling outside his building. Engine humming like my rage. Who's Lisa? Direct. Voice steel. He sighed, rubbing his neck. Neighbor. Worries too much. Bullshit. I yanked the door handle. Crew meeting? What the hell? Done? He grabbed my wrist. Gentle but firm. Wait. Okay. Look, it's not what you think. She's my sister-in-law. Sort of. The word in-law landed like a bomb. You're married? Widowed. His voice cracked. Eyes dropping. 10 years ago. Sarah car accident. Lisa's her sister. Helps with the house. The memories. He pulled me close. Forehead to mine. You're it for me now, Matt. First real thing since her. Relief flooded, mixed with pity. I held him as he broke. Stories spilling. Sarah, high school sweetheart. Straight as they come, their marriage a cover. Chaste and companionate until the end. Loved her like family, he whispered. But never like that. It humanized him. This broken man piecing himself together. And I forgave, deeper in love for his scars. Winter hit hard. Snow blanketing Ohio like a shroud. Holidays loomed. Thanksgiving at Dad's. Tension thick as gravy. Daniel came. Am I pleading? Playing the role of family friend flawless. Dad thawed, sharing war stories. Beers flowing. But under the table, our knees touched. A secret pulse. After pie, Dad pulled me aside in the garage. Oil-scented air heavy. Dan's a good guy, but he's got demons. Son, watch yourself. I nodded, unease stirring. Demons? Daniel never spoke of them beyond Sarah. Christmas. We stole away to a cabin in Hocking Hills. Rental. Cash only. Fire crackling in the stone hearth. We made love to the rhythm of wind through pines. Not bodies crashing, but souls merging. Slow dances in flannel sheets. Whispers of forever. Move in with me, he said at dawn. Snow falling soft outside. After spring semester. We'll tell your dad together. Hope bloomed. Wild and reckless. Yeah. God. Yes. But January brought the shadow. A letter arrived at my dorm, anonymous. Typed. Asked Daniel about Nam. The real story. Postmark, Cleveland. My hand shook opening it. Paranoia spiking. What game was this? I shoved it in my drawer, but doubt festered. February. Dad called frantic. Get home. Now. Heart in throat. I raced the 100 miles. Truck hydroplaning on ice. He was pale at the kitchen table, a newspaper clipping in hand. Obit. Yellowed. PFC Elias Grant. Kia 1969. Hero of Key San. Your buddy Dan, he rasped. He was there. Saved my life. But there was more. Friendly fire. Elias. He was Dan's lover. The room spun. Dad's eyes, red-rimmed, met mine. I knew back then. Joked it away, but it ate at me. Buried in myself after. He crumpled, sobs racking the man I'd never seen cry. Don't let it destroy you like it did us. I fled to Daniel that night, clipping clutched like evidence. He opened the door, face ashen. You know, Elias. My voice broke. You killed him. No, God. No. He pulled me inside, pacing the living room, ghost in his eyes. Accident. Night patrol. Fog thick as soup. I fired. Thought he was VC. Friendly position shifted. No radio. He was gone before I reached him. Tears tracked his cheeks. First I'd seen. Loved him fierce. Matt. First man I ever. We were careful, but we don't give a damn. Your dad covered it, said VC sniper. Medal for me. Silence for us. Betrayal burned. Not for the lie, but the weight he'd carried alone. Why hide it from me? Shame. He sank to the couch, head in hands. Thought if you knew, you'd see the monster, not the man. I knelt before him, lifting his chin. I see you. All of you. We clung, raw and real, the truth forging us stronger, or so I thought. Spring thawed the ground, but not the chill between Dad and me. He knew how. I never asked, but his silences screamed it. Choose your path. Boy, he said one April morning, handing me truck keys. But don't drag us all down. Exile loomed. Unspoken. Graduation neared. My associates in auto tech clutched like a lifeline. Daniel and I planned, sublet my dorm, U-Haul to Cleveland. A life stitched from stolen moments. But May brought the storm. It started with a knock at Daniel's door mid-kiss. Us tangled on the couch. Takeout cooling on the coffee table. Lisa burst in, key in hand, face thunderous. Daniel, he's here, the boy's father. Time froze. Dad, in the doorway, eyes wild, fists clenched. Get your hands off my son. You pervert. Chaos erupted. Dad lunged, Daniel shoving me behind him. Shields up. Tom. Wait, it's not. Shut your mouth. Dad roared. Veins bulging. Knew it. Always knew you'd poison him. Like you did Elias. The name hung. Venomous. I stepped forward, voice steady despite the quake. Dad, stop. I love him. The slap came swift, stars exploding across my vision. Cheek stinging. I tasted blood, lip split. Daniel growled, advancing, but I blocked him. No. This is ours. Dad deflated, horror dawning. Matthew. What have I done? He stumbled back. Rain-slicked jacket dripping, eyes pleading. Come home. Please. I shook my head, tears hot. Can't. Not anymore. He left without another word. Truck peeling out into the night. Daniel iced my face. Apologies tumbling, but the damage rooted deep. Trust frayed. Dad's rage a mirror to the town's. The world's. We'll be okay. Daniel soothed, but his eyes said doubt. Weeks blurred, finals, packing, avoidance. Dad's calls went unanswered. Voicemails raw, son. I'm sorry. Come talk. Guilt warred with resolve. Then, the anonymous letters resumed. 3 now. Escalating, Daniel's hiding more. Check the attic. Millersburg address, mine. Dread coiled. I drove home unannounced. Dad at work. House empty. Up the attic stairs, dust motes dancing in sunbeams. Under floorboards, loose, easy envelopes, yellowed photos. Daniel and Elias. Young, arms slung casual, but eyes screaming love. Letters. To my Dan. Wait for me after. We'll run. Start over. And beneath, medical file. Daniel's discharge, PTSD, suicidal ideation, substance abuse. My world tilted. He hadn't told me that. The depths of his pain, the razor nights, the bottles shattered in alleys. Was our love built on half-truths? I confronted him that evening. Photos splayed on his kitchen table like evidence in a trial. Where'd you get these? Pale. Cornered. Dad's attic. Your secret to my home. Hurt bled through anger. Why? Dan, after everything. He sank into a chair. Defeated. Tom kept them. Souvenirs of the good old days. Bitter laugh. Thought he burned him. As for the rest, I was a mess after Elias. Pills. Booze. 1 foot in the grave. Therapy saved me. But scars don't fade. Ishmet Mina. Pleading. Didn't want to burden you. You're young. Full of light. I wanted to be your safe place. Not your storm. Burden. I laughed. Hollow. Love's not a highlight reel. It's the dark, too. I gathered the photos. Tore them slow. No more hiding. Or we're done. He nodded. Relief cracking his facade. No more. Summer scorched in. Our bond reforged in fire. Therapy sessions together. Daniel's first in years. Me holding his hand through tears. Dad reached out. Tentative. Coffee at the diner. Apologies stammered over black brew. I failed you, he admitted. Voice gravel. Feared losing you like your mom. But hate? That's not us. Forgiveness came slow. A bridge rebuilt plank by plank. By August, we moved, me into Daniel's apartment. Boxes of my life mingling with his. Nights on the balcony. Lake breeze, cooling sweat-slick skin. We dream. Road trip to California. Maybe. Or adopting a dog. Something normal. You're my redemption, he murmured one dusk. Fingers tracing my knuckles. And you're my truth. Kiss soft. Sealing promises. But fate's cruel. She twists the knife when you least expect. September brought routine. Me at a Cleveland shop. Wrenching on imports. Daniel overseeing Renos downtown. Life hummed. Dinners of takeout Thai. Lazy Sundays with the New York Times crossword. His head in my lap. We were out. Cautiously. Pride flags on the fridge. A rainbow sticker on his truck. Friends trickled in. His crew. Roughnecks with hearts of gold. Slapping my back like kin. Boss man softer since you, one-ribbed. And Daniel flushed. Adorable. But the letters persisted. Poison pens from shadows. Elias wasn't the only one. Attached, blurry photo. Daniel in a bar. Arm around a younger man. 20s. Blonde. Familiar somehow. Back read. Tell Matthew about Ryan. My gut churned. Who? I waited. Rage simmering. Until Friday, him late from a site. Mud-caked boots thumping the hall. Rough day, I asked. Casual. Dinner steaming. Yeah. Collapse scare, nothing. He kissed my temple. Oblivious. Smells amazing. We ate. Small talk flowing, but the photo burned in my pocket. Midway through pasta, I slid it across. Who's Ryan? 4 clattered. Color drained. Matt. Where? Doesn't matter. Truth does. Voice even. But inside, storm brewing. He pushed back. Pacing. Ryan was a mistake. Last year, before us. Hired him for a flip. Kid needed work. Fresh out of juvie. Pause. Heavy. One night, too much whiskey. Loneliness hit hard. Woke up hating myself. Jealousy spiked. Irrational. Past is past, but hurt bloomed deeper. You said I was first real since Sarah. You are. Desperate. Hands out. That. Regret. Empty. With you, it's home. I wanted to believe, but seeds of doubt sprouted. No more ghosts. Dan. Where I walk. None. You pull me up. Embrace fierce. Just us. October chilled. Leaves carpeting sidewalks in crimson. Dad visited. First time in Cleveland. Awkward hugs in the lobby. We talked baseball over burgers. Him thawing. Proud of you. Son. Even if it twists my gut. Progress. Fragile. Then. The call. Lisa. Hysterical. Daniel's hurt. Sight accident. Hospital. Now. Traffic blurred. Horns blaring as I race to MetroHealth. ER waiting room. Fluorescent hell. Coffee stale. Lisa paced. Tear streaked. Beam fell. Cracked ribs. Concussion. Stable. Relief warred with fear. When they let me in, he was bandaged. Groggy. Eyes lighting at me. Hey. Handsome. Weak grin. I took his hand. Throat tight. Idiot. Scare me. Sorry. Thumb stroke my knuckles. Life's short. Love hard. That's the lesson. Discharge brought bed rest. Me playing nurse. Soups. Pillows. Bad TV marathons. Intimacy deepened. Not passion's fire, but quiet embers. Reading aloud from Kerouac. His head on my chest. Remember our first storm? He murmured one night. Feels like yesterday. Feels like always. And it did, faded. Unbreakable. Thanksgiving loomed. Dad inviting us home. Family's family, he grumbled over phone. We went. Tension electric. Turkey carved with care. Toast skirting edges. Daniel and Dad bonded over tools. Laughter tentative but real. As pie steamed, Dad raised glass to new chapters. Eyes met mine, forgiven. Maybe. But December cracked the facade. Anonymous again, packaged to my work. No note. Inside, flash drive. Videos grainy. Bar lit. Daniel and Ryan. Not just arms slung, but more. Kisses stolen in corners. Hands wandering. Timestamp. 6 months ago. After us. Betrayal exploded. Red hot. I drove to Daniel's site. Fury blinding. Crew scattered as I stormed the trailer. Him at desk. Blueprint spread. Explain this. Drive slammed down. Videos queued. His face crumpled. Matt God. No. After us? How could you? Blackmail. Voice wrecked. Ryan, troubled kid. Owed money to sharks. I helped. Pay debts. But he twisted it. Videos staged. Leaked to hurt me. Tears fell. Hired a PI last month. Evidence buried. But too late. Liar. World grade. I'm done. I left. Truck eating miles to Millersburg. Rain sheeting. Dad's porch light glowed welcome. He opened door. No questions. Just arms open. Stay as long as you need. Days bled. Wrenching at his garage. Silence is heavy but healing. Text from Daniel, please. Proofs. PI report. Ryan's arrest for extortion weeks prior. Believe me. Fight for us. I wanted to. God. The ache. But trust? Shattered glass. Sharp edges. Christmas Eve. Snow blanketing fields. Dad and I decorated tinsel. Lights. Mom's old ornaments. Love's messy, he said. Stringing garland. But worth the cuts. Wisdom. Hard won. Phone buzzed. Daniel. Voice breaking. One chance. Meet at the cabin. Please. Against better sense. I went. Hocking Hills. Fire lit. Him waiting. Vulnerable in flannel and jeans. Here's everything, he said. Folder thick. Emails. Police logs. Ryan's confession, extortion plot, targeting Daniel's weakness for cash. I protected you. Didn't want you in the crossfire. Truth landed. Heavy but clean. Why me? Why risk? Because you see me. He stepped close. Hand on heart. Warts. Wars. All. I broke then. Sobs racking. Pulling him in. Forgive me. Forgive us. Kiss salt tanged. Renewal. But fate. That bitch. Wasn't done. January 2016. Ryan's trial loomed. Subpoena pulling Daniel to Cleveland court. I testified. Character. Timeline. Voice steady under stairs. Verdict. Guilty. Extortion and fraud. Relief washed. But shadows lingered. February. Dad fell ill. Flu turned pneumonia. Hospital bed swallowing him. We rallied. Daniel at his side. Stories swapped. Old wounds cauterized. You saved my boy, Dad wheezed one night, gripping Daniel's hand. Thank you. Tears pricked. Family, Daniel replied. Simple. Recovery slow, but spring green hope. We bought a fixer-upper, Queen West bungalow. Victorian charm under peeling paint. Hammer swung. Sweat shared. Future nailed into walls. Yet, the anonymous stalker? One last strike. Email to Dad. Videos doctored. Lies woven. Daniel's abusing your son. Panic erupted. Dad called. Frantic. Is it true? No, God. Dad. Heart raced. Traced it. Ryan's cellmate. Grudge deep. Cops moved. Threat neutralized. By summer. Calm settled. We married. Quiet ceremony. Lake Erie lapping. Dad officiating in jeans and tie. Vows whispered. Through storms and secrets. I choose you. Life unfolded. Shop promotions. Daniel's business booming. Adoptions whispered. A rescue mutt named Elias. Wagging forgiveness. Pride parades. Hands held high. Ohio's winds at our back. But change? That first kiss ignited it all, ripping open closets. Mending fractures. Teaching a boy to man. A man to heal. My father's friend didn't just stay over. He rebuilt me. Brick by loving brick. And in the quiet moments, porch swings creaking under stars, I'd whisper, forever changed for the better. The summer of 2016 stretched lazy and golden. Ohio's fields waving like forgiveness. Daniel and I dove into the bungalow, walls sanded, floors refinished. Each nail a vow renewed. Mornings, coffee on the back stoop, his arm around my waist, watching sparrows flit. This is it, he'd say, kissing my temple. Our corner of the world. I believed it. Scars fading to stories. Ryan's trial wrapped. 5 years. Just as cold, but served. Dad visited weekly. Toolbox in hand. Gruff jokes masking pride. Place looks half decent, he'd grunt. But his eyes shone. We'd grill brats. Beers sweating on the picnic table. Talking trucks and dreams. Mine of opening a custom shop. Daniel's of retiring to a lakeside cabin. Family. Patchwork but whole. August heat peaked when a knock came, insistent. Midday sun glaring through screen door. I wiped sawdust from hands. Open to a stranger, early 20s. Lanky build. Blonde hair, cropped military. Eyes mirror to Daniel's, storm gray. Turbulent. Where's Daniel Kane? Work site. Can I? Recognition hit. The bar photo. Younger. Ryan. He snorted. Try again. Name's Jordan. His son. The word weaponized. Laced with venom. World tilted. Son, tell him I'm here. Overdue chat. He shouldered past. Into our living room. Half-painted. Drop cloths rumpled. Sat like he owned it. Arms crossed. Jaw set. Daniel arrived 20 minutes later. Dust-caked. Face paling at the sight. Jordan, voice wrecked. Stepping as if on glass. Ow! Adoption records. Took digging. But blood calls. Bitter smile. Her to the family man now. Queer pride and all. I hovered. Piecing fragments. Daniel's college fling. Panicked one night. Girl from class, placing the baby. Gave you up to protect you. He confessed once. Voice hollow. For me. From this life. Jordan laughed. Sharp. Protect? You bailed. Left me to foster mills. Group homes. Now this. Gesture encompassing me. Us. Parading your boyfriend like it's normal. Jordan. Please. Daniel sat. Slow. I was 20. Scared shitless. Wanted better for you. Better? Like what? Dad? Hiding in closets. Spit the word dad like acid. Eyes flicked to me. Disdain, curling lip. And him? How old? Sugar? Daddy issues. 22, I snapped. Heat rising. And it's love? Not your soap opera. He stood, looming. Love? You're the gold digger in his midlife crisis. Saw the videos, your tight praise on old queers. Enough. I advanced. Fistballed. Get out. Daniel blocked. Hands up. Jordan. Stop. Matthews. Your mistake. Like me. He shoved a folder. Printouts. Our texts hacked. Photos snap covered. Been watching. Letters? Me. Wanted you to see the fraud. Betrayal anew. But twisted, not malice. But pain's lash. Stalker was family. Rage born of abandonment. You could have talked, I said. Softer. Not this. Talk. To him. Thumb jabbed Daniel. Ghost of my life. Daniel broke then. Knees buckling to the floor. I searched. Son. Every year, agencies. Records sealed tight. When I found leads. You were angry. Gone. Sobs choked. I failed you. God. I'm sorry. Jordan faltered. Mask cracking, boy beneath the man. Star for this. But pride held. Too late. Enjoy your pretty life. He stormed out. Doors slamming echo. Silence crushed. I pulled Daniel up. Held him as he shattered. Guilt tsunami. Waves of what-ifs. My boy, he whispered. Lost too, not lost. Hurting. I stroked his hair. We'll find him. Nights blurred. Searches online. P.I. rehired. Dead ends. Daniel withdrew. Dinners untouched. Sleep fractured by nightmares of tiny hands reaching. What if he hates me forever? He'd murmur. Dawnlight harsh. Dad came. Sensing fracture. Blood's thick, he said over whiskey. Porch swing creaking. But choice? Thicker. You chose l'avance. Do it again. October winds howled. Leave stripping bare. A lead, Jordan and Akron. Auto parts clerk. Apartment dingy. We drove. Hearts pounding. Daniel's hand clammy in mine. Knocked, he opened. Wary. Bruised shadowing eye, bar fight. He muttered. Talk, Daniel pleaded. Jordan stepped aside. Reluctant. Kitchen table. Coffee bitter. Stories spilled. Foster horrors. Coming out beaten bloody at 16. Walls built high. Hated you for leaving, he admitted. Voice raw. Then saw you building this. Gesture to me, and it burned. Wanted to break it. Daniel nodded. Tears steady. I left to save you from my mess. But leaving? Biggest regret. Hand extended. Trembling. Stay. Let me try. Jordan stared. Walls trembling. Why now? Because you're mine. And I love you. Decision hung. Air thick. Then, slow, Jordan gripped the hand. Knuckles white. One chance. Don't fuck it. Relief crashed. Hugs awkward but real. 3 men. Fractured. Mending. Winter's softened edges. Jordan visited. Tentative. Dinners. Shop tours. Me teaching him sketches. Talent hidden under scars. Dad met him. Gruff. Came blood. Huh. Stubborn. Laughter followed. Ice-breaking. But depth lingered. Therapy circles. Us three. Then four with Dad. Confessions. Daniel's guilt a chain. Jordan's rage a shield. My fears of loss a ghost. We choose each other, I said one session. Voice steady. Daily. Spring 2017 bloomed reconciliation. Jordan moved closer. Apartment near the shop. Job offer from Dad. Pride that year. Us marching. Arms linked, father. Son. Lover. Friend. Rainbow flags whipped. Chants rising. Ohio sky endless. Climax came unexpected. June storm. Power out. Us at the bungalow. Cards by candlelight. Jordan ribbing my poker face. Thunder rolled, and Daniel froze. Eyes distant, Nam flash. We held him. Ground him. Jordan's hand on shoulder. Mine and his. Here we chorused. Storm passed. Vulnerability forged steel. Summer solstice. We gathered Lakewood, Erie shore. Bonfire crackling. Toasts. Dad to second chances. Jordan to blood found. Daniel to me. You changed everything, pulled light from dark. Kiss soft. Witnessed. Whole. I leaned into him. Waves lapping. Forever. Damn right. Life's not fairy tale, no. Rawer. Realer. Secrets unearthed. Betrayals burned to lessons. Misunderstandings bridges to deeper bonds. My father's friend didn't just stay over. He unpacked my heart. Stitched family from frayed threads. Changed? Utterly. For in loving fierce. We heal, not perfect, but profoundly human.